Well, good morning and welcome to Adventures in Awakening here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. So let's talk about that right there. The title of this talk is Your World is a Fishbowl. Yesterday I wrote on Facebook that title was I No Longer Watch the News. And that's had more legs than a centipede. I mean, people have been commenting on it because we're all caught up in this dilemma of the news and how it creates anxiety and dread. And, I just can't take it anymore. It just keeps me upset, Or what's true? The Fox Viewpoint and all of its auxiliaries, or the left viewpoint. And all of its viewpoints, you see what's real. So I've been looking into this. I've been meditating on it. I have a good viewpoint, a good overlook, because at 84 I have been alive, cognizant, in three worlds. The first was radio in the 40s. I grew up until, say, middle school, 5th grade, say, or 6th grade. Up into that point, I grew up on radio. Lone Ranger, the Shadow, the stories of radio. It's oral tradition. You lie on the floor with a coloring book and listen to the stories. Then TV came and changed everything. Now the TV plopped in the middle of the living room and everybody sat around the TV. We would even watch the station signal, because TV didn't come on in the early days until in the evening. It wasn't on during the day much. So you'd sit there and watch that little propeller, that little signal, and wait for the show to begin, you see. So the TV became the center of the family. People began to eat dinner around the TV. Became the altar. Jesus used to be in the Catholic world, the altar, or in the Hindu world, the altar is the center of the house. Now the TV was the center. And now that's gone. Now we live in the electronic age, or the internet age. 3 different worlds in one lifetime. That's amazing. And they shape the consciousness. When you're in a swimming pool, it might be a circular pool, or a rectangular pool, or the shape of it. But at least you know the shape because you see the shape. But in a fishbowl pool, you can't see the shape because the glass is transparent. And yet the bowl shapes what you do, the way you swim, the way the fish interact, you see. But you can't see the bowl. The glass is transparent. You can bump into it and say, wait a minute, what am I bumping into? Who's the blame? Who's bumping? Oh, you over there, you're the blame. I hurt myself bumping into this bowl. Who did it? You see, you can't see the enemy. You can't see the shape of your mind that makes you feel contracted, closed in prison. Something's not right. Something doesn't fit. Some nagging sense of dread, anxiety, fear, despair. Something's wrong with the world. What is it? Who's to blame? Who's doing it? The government, the devil, God, whatever. The liberals, the Trumpers. Somebody's doing it. Who I hurt? Who did it? Okay. So who did it? You see. But anyway, getting back to this side of the fishbowl. All right. So in with the beginning of the 50s, up until cable, you had networks. That was it. You had ABC, NBC, CBS, and everybody would watch. It was a ritual. It was at my house. My parents would fix a highball and watch the evening news. It's like going to church. And you would pick your anchor that you liked, Walter Cronkite, Huntley, Brinkley, whatever. But the news was the same and the world was the same. It was objective. It was out there, and the reporters were objectively reporting on the world. They didn't put their opinion in it. It was the facts. Joe Friday in Dragnet, just the facts. No emotions, no feelings, just the facts. And the anchors would report the facts. And you believe the anchor, so you believe the facts. But the news was the same facts. ABC, NBC, CBS, you see. Just had a little different flavor to it. That's all, you know. Oh, I like CBS. Oh, NBC's same news. They just had a little different programming. But the point is, the objective world was believed in and real, and it existed outside of you. And the reporters, the newspapers, and the TV reporters would tell you what's happening in the objective world. And you believed it because the objective world was one world, and it was real, and it existed outside of you. This is the modern world. This is the world that was born with Newton and Descartes and Copernicus and Galileo and all of these founding fathers of the age of reason, so to speak. It created America. This viewpoint created America. So it's not a religious world, you see. It's a scientific world that you can improve if you know, well, the laws of the world. You figure out the law, you can fix the machine. Okay. So that was the world of up until the cable TV. Now, the advent of cable fragmented this Trinity. So look at the Trinity of the three networks, almost like you would look at the Trinity of the Catholic Church. You know, it was the big three. Cable smashed it. And now, see, with the big three, with the Trinity, there's only really one Catholic viewpoint. You use this metaphorically. I'm not dumping on the Catholics. I'm just saying that the Catholic viewpoint is monolithic. There is no question. This was the Middle Ages. The viewpoint of the Middle Ages, which was Catholic Church, Holy Roman Catholic Church, was unquestionable. Heaven above, hell below, a temporary zone here, and the goal was to get to heaven and stay out of hell, and that was it. That was the whole universe. And the only way to get to heaven was to go to the Catholic Church and use the sacraments as the instruments of grace to get to heaven. But the goal was to get to heaven and stay out of hell. Now, all right, so then the modern world came and just smashed that. Took God out, you see. Took God out of it and made the universe objective. Now the goal is to get pleasure and avoid pain. And it's personal. The Middle Ages, it was the soul that had to go to heaven and stay out of hell. There was no ego. Now in the modern age, the ego was born, created, and the ego wants to get pleasure and avoid pain. And so now we have all these advertisements and ways to get more pleasure and avoid less pain and get less pain, you see. Pain is hell, pleasure is heaven. I want to get more pleasure, I want to avoid hell. And that's the way the economy works. Selling pleasure or avoiding pain. Take this, you won't have any pain. Take this, you'll get more pleasure. And it created this huge system we live in. But then something was missing. Something was missing from the modern age. The value. What's valuable, you see? Is just getting more ice cream while we're here? Is just getting more pleasure? The pursuit of pleasure? That's it? And we find out after we've been around a while that pleasure turns bitter. The first donut is pleasurable. Second one, a little bit. Third one, you start getting sick. Pleasure turns to pain. So what kind of a pursuit is that, you see? What's permanent? What's the permanent value? That's missing. So that was the Middle Ages gave you permanent value. Heaven is permanent value. Your soul's going to be there for eternity. That's permanent. Or in hell for eternity. That's permanent, you see. The little body just burns up, you see. Burn that at the stake. And they did. So you want to free the soul. Get the souls out of hell. Send them to heaven. This little body is just ashes. Just a poof, you see. But then when the modern age came, the body's all you got. There isn't no heaven, ain't no hell, ain't no soul. You're it, your body. So let's pursue pleasure, you see. But something's missing. The soul's missing. The value, the permanent value is missing. So the point is that with this new age, the electronic age, the digital, the internet, the social media, and it's different from the TV age. I mean, the TV age of the 50s was the last great decade of the TV age. We all sat in the living room watching TV and just consume passively the TV. Whatever the TV gave, we just consumed it. Now it's interactive. Now TV is, you can tweet while you can send a comment, you can interact with it. You can create your own news on YouTube. If you got a camera, you got a iPhone, something happens, you record it, you're on the news. You might even get on NBC, your little tweet. You're interactive with it, you see. That's change. That's big. In the modern age, the Newton Descartes, you're passive. You're a blank slate. And the world just writes on you. And you go, oh, that feels good. Oh, that hurts. You are a victim in the modern empirical world. The world does to you. It may do what you like. It may do what you don't like. Usually what you don't like. So the quest is always, well, how can I get the world? This was Pete Campbell in Mad Men was always complaining, why can't I get what I want right now? Why does the world disappoint me? You see. Everything. I got everything just right. I was so good. And now everything is collapsed. Anyway, I'm a victim, you see. So we're trying to get a grasp here of these huge tectonic shifts, great leaps of evolution, like from dinosaurs to mammals. So you get Middle Ages to the modern age, that's a huge shift in consciousness, and now we're in another shift and we don't even know it. So the shift we're in now, you see, going from the print modern age of the external world being absolutely separate but knowable if you have enough reporters, to a subjective world where value is important. So we really have, I guess the point here is that we're looking at two fishbowls. In the 50s, the world was one fishbowl. And you knew what was in the world, the fishbowl, because of the Trinity of the three networks. You trusted them. But then that broke up in the 60s. And this value world came in. The subjective came back. What's valuable? You know, what, it's hard to explain, but like the Vietnam was the wound. You go to the Vietnam Memorial, it's a wound. It wounded, it split America into two values. Patriotism, it was patriotic to go to war. Your country told you to go to war. It's your patriotic duty to obey your country. Now go to Vietnam and shut up. But Vietnam has no value for me. But Vietnam is immoral. It's not valuable. It has no value. It has no meaning. You just go there in the jungle and get shot. What for? It has no meaning. This ain't got no meaning, no value. I'm not going. Get on the train and go to war, you son of a bitch. John Wayne, the hippie, but I ain't going to war. It has no value. Whoa, right there was the value split. And that's been morphing, evolving ever since into the same wound being kicked down the road. In the same, you kick the can down the road. It's the same wound being kicked down the road. Everything now splits into value. The Republican Party became the value party of God and family. Family values. God, party of God. Patriotism, family values, America. That's value. And the Liberal Party became the enemy, you see. No values, no religion, no God, no purpose, just pursuing pleasure and pain, avoiding pain, pursuing pleasure, greed and all that. No value, no Christian values. So you got this split in values here, and then cable TV comes and gives each value its own TV channel, its own platform, its own megaphone, you see. And so now we've kind of like come to a crisis point here where these two viewpoints have gotten so separate that it's become insane. It's become madness. Now, I'm not saying that they're equal or equivalent, left and right. I'm saying that they don't clap together. The subjective value viewpoint has value. You need meaning in your life. You need a purpose. You need a sense of something real. But at the same time, on the left, you need an objective viewpoint so you can come up with a policy that fixes society, makes it better. Nothing will fix it, but it's progressive. You come up with policies. We just come up with more value. So value and empiricism, empirical knowledge, which is just the facts, and value is just the emotions, don't clap together. You see, but they're both have their place, but they are not the same. You see, this is hard to understand. Anyway, maybe I should leave it there. So meditate on that. We'll pick it up later. Or it's on my Facebook. I'll be writing on this some more. So thanks for dropping in.